Welcome to Experience Talks Online, a series of exclusive podcasts on our website featuring talented, creative people with experience worth talking about. I'm Cynthia Friedlob. Today our guest is Brasi Reyna, the event coordinator of the EngAGE Senior Olympics. EngAGE is devoted to providing creative, healthy, life-enhancing programs to low-income seniors living in affordable apartment communities, and this event is an important part of that mission. This year marks the 13th annual Senior Olympics, which will take place on Saturday, September 21st at Cerritos Park East. Here's Brasi to give us some details. Welcome to the show, Brasi. We're very excited to hear what you have to say about this year's Senior Olympics for EngAGE. Why don't we start, if you'd just give us a little bit of information about your background and how you ended up being the Senior Olympics event coordinator.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Cynthia. It's a pleasure to chat with you today about one of my favorite topics, the Senior Olympics, and how I came to be involved with EngAGE to help put this event on. My background covers many years in the entertainment and event management fields. I came to this occupation, interestingly enough, all the way back in my high school days, and I was always one of the kids that was planning events for the school, and that continued on through college at USC. And then afterwards, I was involved in the film industry, but one aspect of what I did was always to plan events of different kinds, whether they be wrap parties or industry screenings of the films, where we would have events on either side of the screening, and continued all the way up until recently, where through my own company, which is called Millennium 2 Productions, I manage various kinds of events, from the Santa Barbara Symphony to the Ojai Music Festival to the Ventura County Fairgrounds, and a number of other clients. And I came to EngAGE, as many of us do, by answering a posting. And I happened to be looking through, I can't recall where it was posted exactly, it may have been Craigslist or something, but I'm always looking for opportunities and new clients. And there was a posting that seemed very intriguing from EngAGE, and I was invited down by Marine and Susan Price, and they asked me a number of questions about my background and told me a little about the event itself, and it turned out that they invited me to come join the team, and I was thrilled to participate in this. It's an extraordinarily worthwhile event. A lot of events that I've done are pure entertainment value, and some have value because they're connected with fundraising efforts of a number of different organizations. But what EngAGE is doing in the overall scope of the organization, and then more specifically what they want to achieve with the Senior Olympics, is just a very wonderful thing for our senior population, and I'm proud to lend a hand.
Let's talk about what the Senior Olympics are and what it is that it does want to accomplish and who gets to participate, and just give us a little overview, if you would, please.
Sure. Well, of course, as many of us know, the mission, the goal of EngAGE, if you will, is to keep seniors active in their later years, and whether it's wellness or whether it's recreation or arts or any of a number of things, it's important that seniors stay active and stay engaged, as befits the organization's name. And the Senior Olympics is an extension of that. in one area. And what we try to do is bring together seniors from the various senior communities throughout Southern California, and right now there are 22 of them that participate, to this one individual day where we create an environment where the seniors can come and participate in a healthful way in outdoor competitive events and indoor competitive events. The indoor events are performance and arts and crafts, and the outdoor events, they range from a walking competition to basketball toss to horseshoes, ring toss, and all of these events are done with a lot of spirit and a lot of good-natured competition on the part of the seniors, because the end result of all of this is that the points that are obtained by the various winners in the different events all get totaled together, and the community that has the most points becomes the Olympic champion. And they wear that crown for a year, and they have the trophy placed in honor at their community for a whole year, and they're considered the Senior Olympics champions.
That's very cool. Very cool. Who was last year's champion? Do you recall which community won?
Villa Anaheim,
Uh-huh.
which is down in Orange County. They were the winners last year, and the winners previous to them were Heritage Park in Duarte.
Mm-hmm.
And the seniors, as the Senior Olympics approaches, like in the beginning of the summer, typically, there's a lot of enthusiasm that gets generated by the EngAGE staffers and our team at the various communities, and the seniors get really excited. They get signed up. They start practicing for the various events, and they really look forward to this day that's offered to them. The whole day is completely covered by EngAGE. The breakfast, the lunch, all of the snacks, all of the events, everything, the busing to and from the communities to our venue is all taken care of by EngAGE. There's not a cent that any senior has to pay for this.
That's excellent. And you said there are 22 communities that are participating this year, and these are all communities that EngAGE serves with various kinds of programming, from writing to art to exercise programs, the whole list of creative activities that EngAGE supplies. So let's talk a little bit about what the goals are beyond winning an individual prize and then perhaps winning the trophy for your community. It seems like this is a great opportunity for some community building and an opportunity maybe for some people who haven't had recognition for any sort of personal achievement to get that recognition. How do you see that playing out in the Olympics?
Well, and that's absolutely correct, Cynthia. You know, the events that we have at the Senior Olympics aren't events that require a professional athlete's background, or if they're in performance or in the arts and the crafts competition. Some of the people have been professionals but are now retired, but certainly the competition doesn't require that and isn't at a level where if you don't have that kind of background, you might feel intimidated. So there's this great enthusiasm from all of the seniors that participate, knowing that they have as good of an opportunity to be successful and to be recognized as anyone else that's attending this particular event. So that's a wonderful aspect of this. Also, you know, it gets seniors out of their communities and out into the fresh air, and it's like a field trip when we were kids, you might say. We got out of the classroom and we enjoyed being out and being exposed to a new environment and explore new things. And that's what we try to make the Senior Olympics for the seniors. You know, One thing I emphasize with all of our volunteers, and I would like to chat with you about them in a moment if we could, but one thing I like to emphasize with all of them is that our number one job as a volunteer in this effort is customer service. And by that, I mean it's important for each and every volunteer to recognize that we want every senior to leave this day feeling wonderful, feeling like they've been recognized, that they've been provided an opportunity to have a great amount of fun, and to go away with the idea, boy, I want to do this again next year.
Well, let's talk about the volunteers then. How does someone get involved if they would like to volunteer, and what sort of things do you have volunteers doing?
Sure. The volunteers, I consider them the heart of our team. And we look for maybe between 55 and 60, so we have a nice ratio between number of volunteers and number of participants. And they come to us from all different places. There are EngAGE folks that aren't necessarily on the planning team, but other EngAGE staffers who love to come and participate as volunteers. We have board members, EngAGE board members that come. They often will bring families. Then we have people from the community. We have teenagers from local high schools that are looking to be of service or perhaps to get some credit for community service type of activity. We engage some of those folks too. And the volunteers will often see some of our publicity about the Senior Olympics and say, hey, that's something I'd like to be involved with. And they give us a call, and we try to match them up with an activity or a volunteer opportunity that kind of fits what they would like to do. And we get folks participating that way also. So there are many ways that the volunteers come to us. We have a terrific volunteer coordinator. His name is Doug Wisco, and he helps us recruit. So he's making phone calls to people that participated last year and asking them if they'd like to be a part of the event this year, and if they know anybody that would like to participate. And it's just it turns out to be a wonderful experience. I've never heard a volunteer walk away from this event saying, I wish I'd spent my time doing something else.
And what sort of things do volunteers do when they're there at the Olympics? Are they, I know that there's just sort of an organizational aspect to keep people in the right place at the right time for the right event, but what else is involved?
Well, details. I think that's the thing that is the most prominent aspect of making sure these type of events are pleasant experiences for everybody. And part of those details is identifying various kinds of areas where we need the volunteer support. In our interior venue, in the community center where we serve the meals and where we have the performances and the arts and crafts, we need a whole slew of volunteers in there to help serve the seniors and to help keep folks organized, and for the performances, help them get on and off the stage. So there's a lot of activity goes on in there that we need volunteer support for. And then in the outside areas where we have the events, there are a number of areas such as event captains, and these are sort of the folks that manage each of the events, and then they have a group of volunteers that help manage the participation by the seniors and keeping the lines moving and retrieving the basketballs, if you will, or the horseshoes. Other folks are keeping tabs of the scoring. There are people we need in our production crew, for example, that come very early in the morning and help bring all the equipment that we use and set it all up and then load it all out at the end of the day. So there are tons of ways that volunteers are critical to the success of the Senior Olympics.
It's quite a large undertaking now. We've said that there are 22 communities involved. About how many participants does that mean, total, for the Olympics?
It hovers somewhere around 360 to 365 participants, and that's based on what we saw last year. I should mention that EngAGE continues to be affiliated with other senior communities throughout Southern California, and as we see the number of communities served by EngAGE increase, that also gives us an opportunity to invite more seniors to the Senior Olympic event. But the other side of that coin, of course, is then we have to find a venue that's large enough to accommodate more seniors, and also we need to recruit more volunteers to make sure we have enough folks to manage the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's a fundraising aspect to all of this also. Who is handling the fundraising, and what does that entail?
Vicki Clark is a member of the EngAGE board, and she is our Senior Olympics event chair. And her primary function, she does a lot of other things, but she loves to focus on the fundraising and the sponsorship part of the Senior Olympics. And it's critically important, as with every nonprofit event, that fundraising and sponsorship be successful. And Vicki and her team have done a tremendous job of finding people or organizations, corporations, if you will, that find this Senior Olympics event to be of real value and offer to contribute money to help defray transportation costs, or the costs of the food, or the costs of all of the little things, everything from signs to banners to what have you that are necessary, new basketballs, if you will. She has done a wonderful job along with her team in doing this, and she continues to do that this year and is looking to be even more successful than she was last year, and that's really setting the bar high, because they did such a tremendous job last year.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're just getting started with all of the planning, and I know that the participants are just getting started with their training and preparation for whatever it is that they're going to do, performances. When is we'll mention this at the top of the show, of course, but let's just recap when the Senior Olympics are going to be taking place and where they're going to be taking place.
Okay, that's a very important thing. The Senior Olympics this year falls on a Saturday, September 21st, and our location is Cerritos Park East in the beautiful city of Cerritos, California. And we will begin, the seniors will begin arriving somewhere around 8 o'clock, and typically the awards are presented, and the seniors are on their way back to their home communities somewhere around 2:30, 3 o'clock. But of course our volunteers arrive much earlier than that and are usually around a bit later than that. The community of Cerritos has been very welcoming to us, and Sherry Titus, who's the director of their Park and Recreation Department, has been extremely generous in offering the park and the community center to EngAGE for the Senior Olympics. And we have a wonderful working relationship with them, and the whole event unfolds beautifully during the day. So that's the actual date of the event. However, we've been working on it now for a couple of months, and we're at the stage right now where we're getting our save the date flyers out to all of the communities, and our performance heats, if you will begin shortly, so that the communities that want to have representatives entered into the performance category can have their candidates warmed up and ready to go for the competition. And then the official sign-up sheets will be going out near the end of June. Then we'll just continue on there, doing all of the planning, everything from arranging the bus transportation to having all of the posters printed that we need, to making sure the volunteers are trained and informed of all of the guidelines and the procedures that we use.
Well, this is quite a huge undertaking to put this all together.
You bet. And we really start hitting the wall about early August, and then it's nonstop all the way until event day.
Well, it's very exciting. I think it's a really terrific event. I know that the participants are always thrilled to be a part of it, and I know that it is very satisfying for the volunteers and anyone who participates that day. So what we're doing is preparing a page on our website, which is www.engagedaging.org. And you'll see that we have a link to a page devoted to volunteering or donating to support this year's Senior Olympics. And we hope that anyone who is listening will certainly do so. Thank you very much, Brasi. I really appreciate talking to you. And I will look forward to a very successful event.
Thank you, Cynthia. It was wonderful chatting with you today, and I like to welcome anybody that would like to volunteer to get hold of EngAGE or to call me personally, and we'll have those numbers on the website. And if there's any folks out there interested in being a sponsor or contributing in some way financially, we'd welcome that also. Just contact us and we'll take it from there.
Thanks, Brasi. And that's our show for today. To find out more about our guests, go to the previous guest page on our website, experiencetalks.org. Experience Talks Online is produced by John Semper Jr. and me, Cynthia Friedlob, for the nonprofit EngAGE. Thanks to EngAGE founder and executive director Tim Carpenter for making these podcasts possible. And thank you for listening.